Happy Sunday, everybody. Hopefully, everybody have or had a blessed day. Since we're winding down our Sunday, I am again Jared at 011 Green, and again we're gonna talk about a little football. We're gonna dabble into the scrimmages and uh, the upcoming draft, and even we're gonna talk about a little boxing. We talk about football, but I just wanted to give my perspective on that Ryan versus Tank Davis fight. But here I have my one of my co-hosts JB. How's
What's up,
everything
y'all?
going, man?
It's going good, man. How about yourself?
I'm blessed, man. I can't complain about anything. We have D Weezy here. How you doing, D Weezy? Appreciate you, brother. Brandon Bazell was one of the first ones in the chat. Appreciate you, brother. Love y'all. Man. And I'm trying to add Coach 67 Sports. How you doing, brother? Can you hear me?
All is well. I can hear you now, bro.
Yeah, that those Louisiana backwoods be getting your audio, but you got it together, man.
What's good with you, bro?
I'm blessed, man. I can't complain, man. I enjoyed your show, the Bayou Sports TV, man. Y'all y'all have a good show, so everybody please go and support Coach 67 Sports TV. His channel is a growing channel. He's trying to grow his organically. He's not trying to buy any subscribers, so please show the brother love.
None of that, bro. None of that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Amongst other people, I had the privilege to see Brandon Bazell's channel.
For real?
Yeah, he did like a little live, man, and I enjoyed it, man. So please subscribe to him, man. I know, knowing him, I know he got some more stuff coming in the future.
Oh yeah. Because just to kind of piggyback off what you were saying about episode 6 of Value Sports Talk yesterday, I'm gonna kind of give my my post fight reaction after this show here, and then in addition to that, I got another Southern University video coming up right after the show. So check it out.
Yes, and of course, it would not be a show if we don't show love to the mighty LDBC.
Yes, sir.
Love all them brothers in the LDBC in the TWT, the winning team. So love those brothers and sisters there, man. But Coach, I'm gonna do something a little bit different today, man. Had to go back to like high school, so I'm gonna try to use like a little slideshow.
Okay.
Used to usher in different topics. So one of my questions we're gonna start with is basically is me and Jay Good and you behind closed doors. We're talking, about how a lot of SWAC players, the HBCU, of course, not just HBCU players, but even Power 5 or any type of players are jumping in and out of the transfer portal. But since we show love to HBCUs, we've noticed a few players. I noticed a few players. Of course, you and Jay Good talked about that actually blew my mind. As far as them jumping into the transfer portal. So, Sylvian Wilkerson. Sylvian Wilkerson dropped. Would you say, Coach, he right after Prime left, Coach Deion Sanders? He was not one of the first ones, but he was part of that group that jumped in the portal. Is that safe to say?
Yeah. I mean, something along those lines for the most part. basically it's like a lot of high profile recruits that he had. Basically, if you look at, of course, his son is definitely gonna go with him. But him, Travis Hunter, a lot of these high profile recruits that he had, when Coach Prime left and went to Colorado, a lot of those guys jumped in the portal, even though all of them they end up following him and going to Colorado. So for the most part, basically once he left for Colorado, a lot of these guys jumped into the portal. And I don't know if you saw like the post press conference for the SWAC championship game, but basically he told them like, hey, don't just jump in the transfer portal after this game, because he made it clear and transparent that he won't be back at Jackson State for next season. And basically he was telling them, hey, just don't jump in the portal yet. Talk to us and talk to Coach Taylor and some of the other coaches before you make the decision. And of course, as soon as he said that, a lot of guys are just jumping in the portal. I think if you high profile enough, you can just jump in the portal and you're gonna have a landing spot. But I think he was talking to like those second tier and below players. Don't just jump in a transfer portal without having a landing spot. And I and Jay Good, we talked about that. Like if you look at someone like, for example, Bashawn McCray, instead of him just staying and selling and changing positions, he jumped in the portal and he had nowhere to land, and he's still stuck in the portal. So,
Yeah, Bashawn, we all kind of knew that. Bashawn McCray, no disrespect to that young man. He's not the best quarterback to do that as far as to make that move, but he betting on himself. But I wish that young brother the best. But the reason why Sevion Wilkerson was one of the first things I wanted to bring up, actually, I'm going to make a correction to both me and you, Coach. He didn't flat out jump in the portal right away. He did make some mentions that he was going to eventually leave Jackson State, but it wasn't till 1 or 2 weeks ago he finally officially jumped into the portal.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but soon after Coach Prime left, he didn't just flat out say, hey, I'm entering the transfer portal, but there were rumblings about him potentially leaving.
Right.
So that was the issue. And then in addition to that, the second wave of the transfer portal that opened like a week ago, and I think there's only like another week and a half for this window to stay open. He jumped in the second wave of the transfer portal, and basically behind the scenes, you and I and Jay Good, essentially we were talking about, this transfer portal. Like, I think it's good in certain regards, but by and large, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? And that's kind of what the three of us were talking about behind the scenes,
Yeah, well, in Wilkerson's defense, he's a damn good running back, so he should land in on the team. Me personally, I think he'll fit in. And Coach, you made me laugh. I think he'll fit in the I'm blanking on the conference. What's the conference that the Sun Belt?
Yeah, I mean,
and then you said, this is what you made me laugh. You said he might as well stayed at Jackson State.
Yeah, hey, I said either he could have stayed at Jackson State. I said even if he won't, we'll take him much stubborn. But for the Sun Belt, I'm gonna be honest, bro. He could have just stayed in the SWAC for that. And I know some.
Well, I mean, the Sun Belt is competitive. They Georgia Southern joined Appalachian State. Coach, you don't think the Sun Belt is competitive?
Bro, I'm not peeing on the Sun Belt, but the point I'm trying to make is, maybe I'm a homer for the SWAC, but me personally, I think he could have just stayed in the SWAC for if you're gonna, go to Sun Belt. I mean, to me, at best is a upward lateral move at best, but I see that more as a lateral move, bro. I'm gonna be truthful. Now, I understand he's going in some interest from ACC teams also. Now, if he end up going to like your squad, North Carolina, Florida State, one of those type teams, cool. But if you
We'll be glad to have him. I think
yeah,
we good on JB. Would you say we good on running backs?
We got too many.
Okay, but
bro,
on a hypothetical level, JB, if we didn't have too many running backs, will Wilkerson be a fit? Just a hypothetical question.
I don't think he's starting over British Brooks.
Okay.
Bro, Southern has too many running backs. Guess what? I would take him now. I mean, if you could put him and Gerard Sims in the same backfield, I would take him.
Yeah.
So, this whole notion of, if you got 10 running backs, it's cool. But a running back of his caliber, bro, he's gonna find somewhere to lane.
He will.
When we talked about transfer portal, we talked about, no disrespect to Bashawn McCray. I think he's a good athlete, but as a quarterback, he was terrible. I'm just being truthful. So, when Coach Prime was talking to his team, that comment was directed towards someone like McCray. It wasn't directed towards someone like Wilkerson, because guess what? If you're a blue chipper, you're gonna find someone in the lane. I promise you. So he good, but I think he was talking to those second tier and below type players, because some of those guys, I hate to say it, they're gonna enter a transfer portal and they're gonna get stuck. It happens all the time, and that old phrase that the old folks used to say, a bird in the hand is better than two in the bush. So,
that's real.
I hate to keep using the Bashawn McCray example, because people don't realize his brother was a wide receiver and he was a senior at Southern. His name was Benny McCray. So, hey, I would rather just transition.
David Scott, salute, brother.
I would just transition from from quarterback to wide receiver and still have a scholarship, as opposed to entering the transfer portal and get stuck. Now you're nowhere. So, hey.
Yeah, I agree. JB, any comments before we move on to the next player?
This is y'all lame, man. Y'all HBCUs. I'm learning from greatness. You know what I'm saying?
We hear you. All right, we're gonna move on to the next slide. Now this hurt you and Jay good. So those who don't been following my show since day one, Jay Good been on the show a couple of times, and he also played at Southern. Coach is a Southern alum, so so Coach is a Southern fanatic, and the guy that helps out with my channel and talk to us about football behind the scenes, Jay Good, he's a Southern fanatic. So when both of them brought this young man to my attention that he jumped in the transfer portal, me personally, I think this was a blow. This was a hurt your I could say your linebacker core and defensive line, because y'all used them on the outside in certain packages. But Trey Lane is no longer going to be part of the Southern Jaguars. The reason, we don't know. Of course, that's why I have Coach here. He's there live in Louisiana, so he might have an insight on the reason and how much this is going to impact the Southern defense going into the new season. Go ahead, take it over, Coach.
Hey, well, I went to Southern University's 2023 Blue versus Gold Spring game, and bro, I'm not gonna lie. He, outside of Kelby Givens, Trey Lang had the biggest impact on Southern defensive line. And I think he would have kind of been a perfect fit in terms of filling that Jordan Lewis role. Now, I did a video about Trey Lang. I didn't go. I went into real detail in terms of, Kelby Givens was the best defensive lineman in terms of the Blue versus Gold game. Kelby Givens had the biggest impact, but right behind him, it was Trey Lang. And the crazy thing about it is, Trey Lang has already graduated, yet he still has 2 years of eligibility left due to COVID. And the fact that he had that bigger impact on the Blue versus Gold game, and he entered the transfer portal, my home is only like 10 to 15 minutes away from Southern University's campus. And of course, there have been rumblings that, many of the players are not happy with Coach Dooley and the way things are going on the bluff, on the yard at Southern University. So, it's kind of interesting that a player his magnitude, right after the spring game, he jumps in the transfer portal. Now, the one thing I will say, I'm not, trashing Trey Lang. I'm gonna be truthful. I wish him the best in his future endeavors. I think the one good thing about his situation that's different than Sean McCray's situation is the fact that Trey Lang has already graduated. So that's one thing that's beneficial to him. But as you and I talked about, several months ago behind the scenes, if Jordan Lewis jumped in the transfer portal and he really didn't go on a whole lot of interest and a whole lot of attention, and he ended up coming back to Southern, I'm going to be truthful, even for Trey Lang, I don't know how smart a move this was. I don't know who was advising him. Like I said, at least in his particular instance, since he's graduated already, it's not a pressing need that he finds a landing spot as soon as possible. But if I was him and I don't have like a certain landing spot and a certain destination that I'm going to end up in, if I was him, I think I would keep the pipeline to AEW Memphis Stadium open, and I think I would get back with Coach Dooley, because I don't know, from what I'm hearing, he's not going in the interest and attention that he thought he would gain after a successful, spring game,
Okay, all right, but I just thought this was a huge blow to you guys as far as defensive wise. Not saying y'all can't bring in talent to kind of make up for this loss, but Trey Lang was already a transfer from USF, excuse me. So he's in the transfer portal again.
Well, bro,
so
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I agree with you 100%. In fact, behind the scenes, I and Jay Good talked about it. But for those individuals that has not watched my video about Trey Lang entering transfer portal, I think more than him personally, I think it speaks kind of more to the state of Southern University program, even though they just played in the SWAC championship game. The whole Bashawn McCray, Glennon Bubba McDaniel fiasco. It kind of speaks to how in Jaguar Nation, that both in Jaguar Nation and in terms of the players, that a lot of the players and a lot of the fan base, they're really not feeling Coach Dooley. I mean, I made a 2-part series on Coach Odoms versus Coach Dooley, and I'm gonna be truthful, bro. If you look at the comment section, a lot of people, kind of regret the fact that they just let Coach Odoms leave and go to Norfolk State. And we brought in Coach Dooley, who is a part of that Coach Pete Richardson coaching tree. But to be truthful, bro, he's not having the same kind of impact that Coach Odoms had. And I'm going to be truthful. The way it's looking, everything looks a little sketchy and shaky right now. But if Coach Dooley has a bad season this year, bro,
you cancel Christmas.
I promise you, bro, a lot of people in Jaguar Nation are going to be calling for his job. So
they already was last year, so that's gonna double down, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. So I don't know what he needs to do. He needs to be certain he has a slam dunk in terms of, whether it's Harold Blood, whether it's Dylan Morotra, whether it's Noah Biden, or Zay, or Jalen Woods, or whoever. He needs to get the quarterback situation straight, and the defense needs to be rock solid, and they need to have a year where he not only goes back to the SWAC championship game, but he needs to win it, and maybe win the Celebration Bowl just to keep his job. Because I'm gonna be honest, bro, it's too early to tell, but I think.
Oh, Coach cut out. It was getting good.
Always on the good parts.
Yep.
Oh no, I mean for if you didn't catch the last little bit of what I was saying basically Coach Dooley needs to have a good season this year where he wins the SWAC championship and maybe win the Celebration Bowl, but he needs to win the SWAC, or if not, I'll be willing to say he's on a hot seat. this after, at the end of the next season. So he needs to do well.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. So we're gonna move on to the next player. And this player right here, Ja'Cory Merritt, running back. He's been a running back for Alabama State for multiple years, and he was a pretty good, decent running back they could lean on. And him deciding to transfer was a bit of a shocker to me. Coach, do you have any insight on this?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. When when in our little group chat with you, Jay Good and I, when I saw his name, it kind of caught me off guard, And don't get me wrong, I know there's been like a huge rash of players entering the transfer portal, like you said earlier, not just in HBCUs, not just in the SWAC, not just in the MEAC, but across the board. But when I saw his name, if the fact that you have somebody like a Trey Lang or Sylvian Wilkinson in the transfer portal, it wouldn't have shocked me. Even if you'd have told me right after I walk out E.W. Munson Stadium for the spring game that Trey Lang would have entered the transfer portal, I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. But for Merritt to enter the transfer portal, bro, it just kind of caught me off guard. I mean, to me, I hate to say it, when we talk about Trey Lang, I think it kind of speaks more to the state of, football at Southern University. Even though you coming off a SWAC championship game loss, I think it kind of speaks more to, the state of Coach Dooley's program. Whereas with the Merritt situation, him leaving Bama, I think it kind of speaks more to the situation of the SWAC as a whole, as opposed to just the institution that he's at. Because the fact that you have all of these guys in the portal, it's like, bro, and for him to enter, yeah, it kind of took me aback for a minute,
Yeah, for a couple of years, man, he's been holding it down in that running back position and been actually been pretty good. Alabama State has been able to lean on him as far as in the running game, and he's the type of player. I'm not saying he's a NFL talent, but I'll put it to you like this: if he make an NFL team and starting running back goes down, he's able to carry the load. That's how talented this young man is. I wouldn't be surprised. But for Alabama State to lose a player of this caliber, it's very, and you well said, Coach, not just toward Alabama State, but the SWAC as a whole, because they're losing a lot of players in the portal. And we're going to move on. Now, this topic is a little bit different. Those who do not know who this young man is, he's one of the best interior offensive linemen recruited out of Louisiana. He went to LSU for 1 or 2 years, jumped in the portal, and now he's a FAMU Rattler. And if anybody who hasn't done the research on this young man, please do. He is a mauler. He's very athletic for his size, and he likes to punish you. So the caliber of player FAMU is getting, good job by Willie Simmons. And I'm gonna go ahead and say it, Coach. I picked JSU to, even though they ain't got Coach Prime, I picked them to fight their way back. Notice I said fight their way back, meaning it's not gonna be easy. as it was when Coach Prime, but I picked them to fight their way back to the a SWAC championship. With talent like this, FAMU is recruiting. I don't know.
I don't know, bro. He look kind of stiff to me.
Go on YouTube, look at videos, man.
Will do.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest. I know the landscape of college football is changed. Over like the last 20 years, because at one point, that's how Coach Richardson kind of made his mark in terms of, guys would go to LSU and they wouldn't be happy with where they were on a depth chart or whatever the case may be, and they would transfer to Southern, and literally they would walk right in Southern's lineup, and they would become first team all SWAC, and they would become All American or whatever the case may be. Guys like Mike Hayes and Nemesis Bates and Jermaine Sharp, so on and so forth. So the fact that you get a player from LSU, and instead of him transferring to Southern, he transferred to FAMU. And of course FAMU is a SWAC school, but the point I'm trying to make is, at one point before Nick Saban put the ban on players transferring from from LSU to Southern, that kind of player, he would have transferred from LSU and he would have came to Southern. And the crazy thing about it is, Nick Saban knew he was losing a truckload of players to Southern, and as a result, he he put a ban in place, because, and the ironic thing about it is, that year he did it, Southern won the SWAC championship and the Black National Championship. It was called the Heritage Bowl back then, but essentially it's a Celebration Bowl now. It's the same bowl game, but it's just a different name. Southern won it that year, and LSU also won the national championship that year. And they had a parade downtown Baton Rouge, called the Champions, the Parade of Champions, right? And it was a parade
Right.
downtown Baton Rouge, and then after the parade, LSU fans went to Tiger Stadium in Tigerland, Death Valley, and Southern fans went to A.W. Mumford Stadium, Peterson Field. And after that season, he put the ban in place, and this is the crazy thing about it. Instead of him seeing that whole situation through, he ended up leaving and going to be the head coach for the Miami Dolphins, which is the craziest thing about it. But the point I'm trying to make is, had this been like, 1999, 2001, 2002, 2003, that guy would have ended up at Southern as opposed to FAMU. So it's ironic how over the years the landscape of college sports changed,
It's very ironic. It's very ironic. And this transfer portal has made it very interesting. So I believe Coach Prime said it himself in a Colorado press conference. He said the same team that you see in practice during the spring is not going to be the same team you see first game of the season when we play TSU.
Hey, and one other thing I want to add.
You cut out, Coach.
A few of these spring games around the SWAC, of course I was in at Southern's Blue versus Gold game in person. I saw some highlights from Jackson State's spring game and Alcorn State spring game. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. With these spring games, is you really can't tell much.
Not at all.
I know when I was in high school, our first team offense would go against our first team defense, and bro, our first team defense used to ravage our first team offense. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, when Friday night comes, bro, like we're not even gonna be able to move the ball. And the ironic thing about it is, our feature back, he ended up being all state that year, and the next year he ended up going to Grambling. His name was Brad Hill. And the defense was just average on Friday nights, but the offense was above average. But in practice, the defense used to just destroy the offense. And the crazy thing about it is, you really can't tell anything, just based on practice. And the point I'm trying to make is, you really can't tell anything from these spring games. But, I'm already kind of moving, because, at one point I thought, well, hey, maybe like Jay Good was saying in our group chat, maybe I was just drinking the Kool-Aid. bro, I'm not gonna lie. I'm moving from J State to. I think FAMU gonna win the East and maybe the SWAC overall because what.
I'm starting to veer that way because they got this talent like this young man who can easily right now start on LSU offensive line. Um, yeah,
And I mean, not only that, but you have to realize having Musa come back, another year, bro, that gives you stability in your program that you really just don't understand. I mean, just imagine. I mean, I know it was a lot of controversy with the whole Glennon Bubba McDaniel and Bashawn McCray situation. But just imagine if Glennon McDaniel could come back for a 6th year and be the starting quarterback of Southern. I think that would calm a lot of the skeptics and the doubters and the naysayers of Coach Dooley right now. If you knew Glennon Bubba McDaniel was coming back for another year eligibility, you knew Southern's offense would be in good hands. And, having that question mark is something that FAMU doesn't have. They know they're going to have Musa back. I mean, unless he gets injured, which I doubt he will. But, having a transfer like that and having Musa and all the potential weapons he could have, I think they're probably the front runner to win the SWAC East and the SWAC championship overall.
I agree, man. And just going back to what you said about these scrimmages or these spring games don't really show you what the team's going to be like. I mean, this transfer portal fiasco, I mean, just put, grease to the fire, right? To that statement, because that doesn't mean you're going to have the same team come fall. If these young men are like, man, I'm not even going to start. Let me jump in this portal.
I hate to kind of keep beating a dead horse and reiterating this, but unless somebody's advising these guys, bro, a lot of these guys going to jump in the portal and get stuck. Even Trey Lang we talked about earlier, unless he has a certain landing spot, bro, I wouldn't enter the portal out of
Man, Trey,
emotion.
I think you just saying that because you want him back. He gonna land a spot, bro.
No, all right, bro. Just think about it. I don't know if you remember the junior year that Jordan Lewis had, bro. Yeah. Jordan Lewis did better than I probably say, for the exception of Southern D line coach DeMarcus Miller. He probably had the best season that I've seen in recent memory of any Southern defensive lineman. And
yeah, I did not point that out.
But this is the point I'm trying to make. This is the point I'm trying to make, though. I don't think Jordan Lewis got the kind of interest that we thought he got. That's why he came back to Southern. So, okay. I mean, I'm not saying Trey Lang not a good player, but unless he has a certain landing spot, bro, I don't know how good an idea that was. Because you can say what you want. I don't think Trey Lang's impact on the defense is as big as Jordan Lewis was at his prime, at the height of him being the player that he was and stuff. So I'm balanced. I don't even think that's up for debate or argument, to be truthful,
Okay. I hear what you're saying, but I just believe Trey Lane won't have. Now that Jordan Lewis couldn't land a spot, I think because people like Jordan Lewis, and if anything, Isaiah Land had a better chance of landing to a Florida State or something like that. Jordan Lewis, not really, because the type of linebacker he is.
Why are you saying that? Because he's more of a tweener. He was in a tweener type position.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying. Maybe in terms of fit, he might not fit at a bigger program. I'm not talking about fit. I'm talking about production and impact. His production and impact at Southern his junior year was through the roof.
It was.
I mean, I would say it's comparable to DeMarcus Miller, or Joe Williams, or one of those type of guys. I mean, bro, he had a savage junior year, and the crazy thing about it is the fact that there was a scheme change. It just kind of killed his whole senior season because, instead of him, catching offensive tackles off guard, or just lining up in a wide nine and just running by them, they put him in that position full time. And bro, these offensive linemen were ready for him. They weren't caught off guard.
Mm-mm.
And bro, he was just getting manhandled a lot. He was getting manhandled by these left tackles in the SWAC. And in addition to that, a lot of guards was able to handle Jason Dumas. Or if not, Jason Dumas was getting doubled. That was the reason why of those guys on the defensive line, that was the reason why Taj Brown was the only one of that group that made the all-SWAC team. Because Lima was able to better handle Jordan Lewis and Jason Dumas, and as a result, somebody had to kind of benefit from it, and it was Taj Brown. And the thing people don't realize, when Taj Brown was at Donaldsonville High School, I don't know if you see my panelist, my cousin Raymond, he played at Donaldsonville High School with Taj Brown. When I used to go to see them play, Taj Brown was a linebacker. And Taj Brown ended up being second team on SWAC last year is a nose guard. So that goes to show you how, over the course of 4 or 5 years, how a player's body could change,
Yeah, you're right. You're definitely right. But with this movement, all this movement, these players are doing, these trying to fit on the correct team, in their mind, the correct team, I should say, so they can just play and shine. But I ain't gonna lie, it's surprising a lot of faithful fans that want to see that player come back or whatever, but they got to do what's best for them, I guess.
No, I don't mean to cut you off, bro. I understand what you're saying, and I know it's kind of an individual case-by-case basis. But do you think it's good for all of these guys to, if they're not being advised, to just enter the transfer portal? Like I said, somebody like Sivion Wilkerson, we know he's gonna be good because he's gonna find one thing.
Exactly.
Do you think some of these other guys, do you think it's in their best interest to jump in the transfer portal without having a for certain landing spot?
Absolutely not. Even though a lot of people, when Coach Prime said what he said about jumping in the portal and getting stuck, he already had made a pivot himself, which a lot of people looking side-eyed at him about, but there was a lot of truth to it.
Well, I think what he was saying is, don't let the fact that, I'm having issues with the program and the fact that I'm leaving and I'm going. Don't make a hasty emotional decision without, being certain what you're doing is in your best interest. I think essentially that's what he was trying to say, without actually, using that as much verbiage as I just did. Basically, don't just jump in the portal out of emotion. I don't know if you've been on the job where you really couldn't stand a job. I've been in a few schools where I really couldn't stand, and I was in the process of leaving. And basically, my mom, who's been a teacher for a lot longer than I have, basically she was like, hey, you don't want to make a hasty, rational decision. We need to sit down and we need to, plan your next move. Hey, are you going to have a certain teaching job after you leave, or just another job just in general in another field? If not, then you need to stay at this place at the end of the school year, and then over the course of the summer, you can make that decision. So essentially, I'm just kind of using my own situation as an example of what he was telling these young men to do. Like, don't just make a hasty, irrational decision. Sit down, think it over, and if you don't have a certain landing spot, then just stay here at Jackson State. Basically, that's what he was telling them.
Oh, good example. And I know where you was getting at. You using your what you been through in your personal life, and correlating it with these young boys in their college football careers. I definitely understand. But it's coming to pass. Like the example you just used, Bashawn McCray. You know what I mean? He wasn't the best quarterback in the SWAC at all. So and he's probably looking to go with another SWAC team or even MEAC. But there's quarterbacks on those teams' rosters that are better than him right now. So so he might get stuck there. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Division. This is gonna sound messed up, but I'm being truthful. A Division 2 or Division 3 school would gladly take him. Gladly.
Yeah, maybe even an SI double A or something. I'm gonna be truthful.
Yeah.
You know, there's a difference between him being a good football player and being a good quarterback. He's a good football player. He's not a good quarterback.
I watched that boy play, and I don't even follow HBCU like that. I don't think Fayetteville State would take him.
Well, dang, Josh.
Wow. Hey, and that's in a mouthful.
Yeah.
And I mean, the thing about it is, bro, you know, it kind of goes to show you why Southern fans are really down on Coach Dooley. Because, you know, for somebody that doesn't watch WAC football, I mean, bro, it's been painfully obvious most of the season. Like, bro, like, why is this dude starting? And I mean, don't get it twisted. If I was to put together a highlight reel for him, and I could show you some of his highlights and clips from against Pine Bluff and against some of these bottom feeder SWAC teams, because, you know, despite what people might say, against the lower tier competition, you know, the Florida Memorials and the Pine Bluffs and those type of teams, he played well against them. But against the real deal SWAC schools, against the Texas Southerns, against the Jackson States, he struggled against those teams. So the point I'm trying to make is, you know, he's a good athlete and he's a good football player, but he's not a good quarterback. And I think he should have just, you know, take the option that he was given to transition and move to wide receiver, like his brother. You know, his brother was playing wide receiver, and just, you know, keep your scholarship as opposed to making a hasty, rational decision. Now you probably won't be playing college football anywhere.
Wow. Well, as far as getting stuck in the portal, I think he might be the best example. That's why I guess we keep coming back to Bashawn McCray. But that, ladies and gentlemen, we're not saying this young brother is not talented at all. He can ball. But as a quarterback, there's, like I said, there's better quarterbacks on these team rosters right now that's better than Bashawn McCray.
You might need to move to tight end or something.
No, not tight end.
No,
not tight end.
He's
not big enough.
Yeah, he's not big enough to play here probably. That's why I say they offered him an option to move to wide receiver. On a college level, he's the equivalent of what Tim Tebow was in the NFL. He's Tim Tebow-ish, a good football player, but a terrible quarterback.
Got you.
All right. Well, but I'm liking this. Going back to the original topic, I like this Cardell Thomas pickup for Florida A&M. Bravo, Willie Simmons, Coach Willie Simmons. Bravo. He said he gonna try to take the SWAC championship this year. With picking up talent like this, he will, and he might even beat a MEAC team. But moving on.
Hold on. Let me catch you on that. I think he could beat most MEAC teams. Now, can he beat the top teams in the MEAC? That's a different story.
Like North Carolina Centrals or
Nah, yeah. If you say North Carolina Central, cool. But to be truthful, you know, I think most teams in the SWAC could beat most teams in the MEAC. But I don't think they could beat the upper echelon teams at this point. At least tell somebody into the celebration bowl and prove otherwise. But I think they'll beat most of the middle of the pack to bottom of the pack MEAC teams, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But when you stack your roster like Willie Simmons is doing with players who seem greater talent than what the SWAC or even the MEAC has to offer and played against, then your chances of beating any type of MEAC team is high. But of course, this is just me talking. We definitely gonna have to see, because everybody thought Jackson State was gonna beat North Carolina Central. Look what happened. Now, JB, this is your segment, and the reason why we did doing this, we had to do this being at UNC Tar Heel fans, me and JB. Um, we were able to see the scrimmage yesterday, and starting with JB, I just want to get your feedback on what you think. Have the Tar Heels improved in a lot of areas, or if they're still stagnant? Basically, what's your feedback on that?
Well, thank you, and thank you for adding me to the show. This segment, I love. I'm catching. I'm gonna catch up with y'all on the HBCUs, but I'm an ACC, type of guy. Um, I was watching, a couple of scrimmages from the ACC, usually the top teams from the ACC, and I was looking at the Carolina scrimmages yesterday. Not yesterday, but yeah, yesterday. And Drake May is Drake May. Drake May is probably going to be, in the running for the ACC Player of the Year, maybe the Heisman. I don't know. Joshua Downs left. Antoine Green is gone. But we got two transfer. Y'all talked about the transfer portal for the HBCUs. It's the same way in D1. Um, Devontae Walk. We got Devontae Walker from Kent State. Mac Brown loves him because he has that highlight where he scored like 80 something yards against Georgia, the defending champions. And Nate McCullum from Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is running the spread now. They're not running the wing T or the option no more. They running the spread with their new coach, and he certainly gave us some issues, but that doesn't really tell us nothing because everybody gave us issues last year when it came to throwing the ball, even Florida A&M. That's how I know who that Musa boy is. What I was really looking at, there was a couple of things I was looking at from us. Who's going to be the next running back for us? We got Green, the Green, Amari Hampton, British Brooks, and Hood. We got like 4 backs we can switch in and out. But I think just watching, I think British Brooks, Omari Hampton, and I'm blanking on his first name. Green. He more. You know what he reminds me of? If he Julie, the Green. You remember? And Coach, Coach. You remember Pierre Thomas, running back for the Saints?
Of course, I do. Being a Saints fan, yeah, I was a huge fan of Pierre Thomas. I mean,
that's who 21 for us. Green. That's what he reminds me of. He's not the fastest.
Elijah Green.
He's not the. Yeah, Elijah Green. Thank you. He's not the fastest. He's not the biggest, but he's reliable. He's that for our UNC offense. He's not like Gervante Williams or when we had Michael Carter a couple of years ago. But he's solid. He's a college level for the Tar Heels, college level running back. So I want Hampton to take that. Amari Hampton is a bruiser back. He's got okay speed for a big boy. He can pick him up and put him down. But I think he needs to work on his pass blocking. That's why we moved to Green at the end of the year because he was getting Drake May killed in pass coverage, pass blocking. British Brooks was going to be our starter last year, but he got hurt. He looked good in the spring game. He was catching balls out the backfield, and he more of an overall back, all around back. He got a little speed. He got some power, and he can pick them up and put them down. And he can break off tackles and get that that 3 yards in the cloud of dust if you need it. Hood, he was more of your Swiss Army knife type of running back. He can catch it, run it. Anything
Uh-huh.
you ask him to do, he can do it.
Okay.
Um,
Now, let me ask you this. You know, especially with Coach Brown, he loves a scoring offense, all right? Especially
right,
run the ball.
right,
And we know we're going to be able to throw the ball with Drake May. We need weapons for Drake May. Now,
right.
the question I'm going to ask you that probably every UNC Tar Heel fan wants to know that infuriated them last year is what did you think of the secondary play? Even though it was a scrimmage, but just them covering the wide receivers.
The secondary play was okay. I think we're going to be better than last year. I was upset. We fired Dre Bly.
Yeah.
Dre Bly was our secondary coach last year, and he had to be fired. I love Dre Bly. He was a great pro, but we was terrible.
Yeah.
I knew I knew we were going to have a bad year in the secondary when Florida A&M was moving up the ball up and down the field on us, and then half of their team didn't even show up. So the
Yeah.
first game. So I said, yeah, this when we get to ACC play, it's gonna be up and down, and we can't keep relying on Drake May. And then Phil Longo was our offensive coordinator. He loved trying to run the running back like he was your boy from Baltimore that we just fired.
Oh, Greg Roman.
Greg Roman just running Drake May like, look, man, we can run. We get it, but you just don't run draws just every other play. Quarterback draws and options. Come on. When you got about 10 running backs, you know what I'm saying? But going back to the defense and the secondary, I just there's a couple of players I like. I like Gervante Biggers is coming back. Marcus Williams was solid. Will Hardy is solid. Now again, I'm not saying great. I'm just saying solid or good. They're just solid. Um, who else?
Wait a minute, hold on. So I did hear that with DJ Jones, Fayetteville, North Carolina boy, he is moving from running back to defensive back. Is that true?
That's what I heard from our new defensive coordinator. When they did when he did the post conference,
Mm-hmm.
the press conference, but I didn't see him. I just saw Marcus Allen back there. I seen Will Hardy back there. DeAndre Boykins. LaShawn DeAndre Hollins, number 15. He's still getting burnt. He's 6'1", but he be getting burnt. Let me see. They crazy about this boy Elijah Huzzy. He was a transfer we got in the transfer portal, and he played for East Tennessee State. And he had some accolades. Yeah, he was first team FCS all conference and first team all SoCon honors. And he was awarded the book. He finished 12th. Excuse me. He was finished 12th in the book Buchanan Award. And he had six interceptions last year. So we're gonna see, Jared, man. It's the secondary. And I'm a defensive line dude, man. And I think you can cover up any bad defensive line. Secondary play if you have a defensive line. Somebody that can get out to the quarterback. I was looking out from them boys, man, to see because it's like we couldn't get no penetration, and that's one
No.
thing Mike Brown was saying in his interviews that we got to get penetration. We got to get more uh, tackles for losses. We got to get more sacks. So I am looking for players like Kevin Hester Jr. Let me see. Travis Shaw, Greensboro boy, Javari Ritchie, Miles Murphy from Dudley High School, Desmond Evans from Lee County. We need all them boys to come up, man. Tamari Fox is in his fifth year. He's a graduate. Um, his brother is in the NFL for the Jets. Kobe Cowan. We need all these boys, man. That's what was more upsetting for me, Jared. All these boys was 4 and 5 stars, and that we
And he already act like we couldn't get no penetration.
the highest sack person we got was like 3.5.
That's disappointing.
That's very disappointing. And I think he left. So, I mean, we got to get a better play from our defensive line, man. And of course, on our linebackers, our best ones is Cedric Gray, Power Echols, um, what's your other boy? Kamari Rucker be playing at Jack. You know, we can't especially Cedric Gray, because I don't know. You can't tell. You know what I'm saying? You know, in the scrimmage, but if Cedric Gray go down, I don't know who we gonna replace him with. I don't know how deep we are at the linebackers at the linebacker spot, bro.
That's a scary ass thought, ain't it?
Yes. So, offensive line, we had a lot of sacks, and that scared me. I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. Mac Brown did say he's gonna look for some offensive line in the portal. So that's kind of worries me because our defensive line.
If he said that, that's a bad thing.
Our defensive line they look better. They look good. They would get penetration, but I don't know if it's because our offensive line was trash or we got better. Because we played South Carolina first game of the season. So
they will definitely give us a test.
That's gonna be your test right there. It ain't that Spencer boy returning.
Rattler, Spencer.
Yeah, Spencer Rattler, yeah.
Spencer Rattler, yeah. I'm not sure.
And just really, it's going to depend if Drake May is going to be, return to his ACC Player of the Year form and be that guy again. It's up to our offensive line, man, really. Because, man, I was looking at Florida State. Jordan Travis is still fast as hell. And I told you, bro. Every time we play a quarterback that can run, they're gonna give us the business.
Yeah.
And we saw that even when we played Georgia State. They had that boy that could run, and he was giving us the business. Because we have solid linebackers, but we don't have we don't have size like that, bro, on our linebackers and athleticism like that to chase after these running quarterbacks. So I'm just anxious to see what the defense will look like. Let's look, man. But he's still throwing picks. So Jordan Travis, he threw a bad pick, man, from Florida State
in the scrimmage, yeah.
So he still has the accuracy problems, but he still can hurt you, being the
athlete that he is.
Yes. Running the Florida State running backs is deep, and their wide receiving core is deep. They got dudes that can go get it, just throw it to them, and win the jump balls. Um, I think Clemson is going to be solid this year. Cade Klubnik, the boy from Westlake, he's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a starter. I told you that last year.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
like DJ, but I knew DJ was too inconsistent. He has that Cam Newton, more of a Cam Newton body style and play, where he more of a he gonna run that quarterback power and play action and try to get a deep ball. Cade Klubnik fits on what they want to do on offense. He can make all the throws in that offense, but I really can't tell if Clemson defense is going to be that good because last year it looked like they fell off because we was moving the ball against Clemson when we played them last year. So I don't know. Riley Leonard, and I'm going over all the top ACC QBs. Riley Leonard from Duke, that boy got some wheels.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's gonna tear our ass up again. He's gonna get probably about 230 yards um, throwing and probably around 80, 90 yards rushing. And Duke always got a good running back, and they got pretty good receivers. Their problem is just like ours, defense. So Riley Leonard is still that guy. They got this one dude, this black quarterback. He's I don't want to see him. I hope we don't hurt Riley Leonard because he has that Cam Newton build, and those Duke defenders was just bouncing off of him. He didn't even wear a red shirt or nothing or a blue shirt where you can't touch the quarterback in
Right. Right.
scrimmages. He was
Right.
taking hits and they was bouncing off him. I said, "Oh Lord, I hope we don't hurt Riley." So
Soft on
that's what
defense.
Duke.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm just scouting all our rivals in the ACC. Brennan Armstrong. Brennan Armstrong is the quarterback for Virginia. He
Mm-hmm.
had the year before last. He had a strong year, and then the year before that, he got hurt. He wasn't playing too good. Virginia is not a good football program right now, but they have their good years and their bad years. One year they be trash, and then next year, the other year they'll win by 8, 9 games. That's Virginia, but we'll see. Tyler Van Dyke. They were talking about Tyler Van Dyke being the best quarterback in the ACC last year for Miami.
Right.
Um, he was trash last year. Just being 100, he was trash. Um, Duke looked horrible. I mean, I see them boys. They was trying to run read option. They was running into each other, falling over each other. I don't know what the hell going on up there in Miami.
You said Duke though.
I mean, Miami. I meant
Yeah.
Miami. I don't know what's going up there with the
Yeah.
Hurricanes.
What's going on with the Hurricanes, Coach? What's your? I know you're not an ACC guy, but what you think going on with Miami? Has college football raped the state of Florida of all their talent? And
I mean, it's definitely not the U. And the crazy thing about it is, just recently they had made a reemergence in terms of, you know, like maybe hey they could get back to where they used to be in the '90s and the early 2000s. But it seems as if this past year, Miami went back to regressing and being, not that good. So I don't know if it's, because of recruiting or the lack thereof. Is it because, internal issues, whatever the case may be? I don't know what it is, bro. But at one point, it seemed like Miami was trending in the right direction, and they had the turnover chain, and I'm like, wow, they could get back to being what they were. But
Right.
but now it just seems as if they regress back to what they was like the last handful of years.
Yeah, when De'Aaron King and left, they stopped being less competitive. They had a bunch of coaches um that swapped in and out of there. This coach was supposed to turn things around, but I'm not like y'all said, like Prime said, what you see in the spring, you might not see when it's time to put them pads on in the fall. But at the same time, it's not looking good. I didn't even watch the rest of the Miami scrimmage. I was like, what? I was like, y'all, come on.
Like what? Yeah, it was hard to watch.
It was hard to watch, especially when they would like I said, they were trying to do a read option and they was tripping all over each other, man. It was bad, but I was really just focusing on our team, the Tar Heels. Um, to be honest with you, man, because last year in the Atlantic, Clemson, Florida State, Louisville, the Atlantic was stacked, man. You had Clemson that was 11-3. Florida State that was 10-3, Louisville 8-5, NC State 8-5, Syracuse finished 7-6, Wake Forest 8-5, and their worst team in that division is Boston College with 3-9. So everybody in the Atlantic was over 500 last year. Us in the Coastal, we had the best record with 9-5. Duke was 9-4. Pitt was 9-4. Georgia Tech, I'm still mad we lost to them. 5-7. Miami 5-7. Virginia 3-7. Virginia Tech 3-8. Virginia Tech is trash. But like I said, man, it's the Coastal is the weakest out the two groups out of the ACC, with the Atlantic being the strongest. Um, it looks like we beat most of those teams we in the Atlantic, except no, we didn't play Florida State. Thank we beat Wake Forest, I believe, and we lost to NC State.
Yeah, we beat Wake.
So it's just going to me. Clemson is going to be the top again. Florida State. I don't really know, man. I think we're going to win around about same number of games as we did last year, 8 to 9 games, man. I don't. Our defense, man, got to show me something, and
Yeah.
I still don't know what we got out of our receivers, man. We have that dude Paysar, who was um, tight end / wide receiver hybrid. But Devontae Walker from Kent State, he looked good, man. But then again, everybody looked good against our secondary, man.
So just to wrap it up, so the defense is going to be a good big question mark coming in this season.
The defense is a question mark, man. Them boys, man, especially our defensive linemen, bro. All them boys with 5 and 4 stars, bro. I got to see something this year.
I agree. And last of the slide we're going to talk about. We basically touched on a lot of scrimmages, but one scrimmage I wanted to talk about that I saw was Colorado. And yeah, a lot of people are already doing, shows and videos about this, but I just wanted to get my 2 cents about it. Watching it, they looked okay. The bright spot I saw out of the whole scrimmage was a backup quarterback, and that's Ryan Staub, freshman from Texas. He looked sharp. He read his reads pretty good. So the reason why that basically came out that was a bright star to me because God forbid if anything happened to Shador.
Right, it's still solid.
Yeah, they need a very competent quarterback. They know how to get the ball to the destination. So, defense, I don't know,
Right.
like because like Coach Prime said, a lot of them not going to be there. So
Dang, who else Coach Prime bringing in?
he said he's going to bring in a lot of people. He said he stay in the portal, but
Bro, that's a lot to turn over from the spring to the fall. And, I know you and I talked about this at one point. What do we think Colorado could potentially be
appreciate you,
this
Brandon.
coming season? Bro, I'm going to be honest. I think his first season at Colorado might look like his first spring season at Jackson State. I think they might struggle this coming season, bro.
I'm predicting that too. I didn't want to say it, but because I ain't gonna lie, I'm subscribed to his son's channel, Well Off Media, and a lot of people were saying what I was thinking. They look kind of small. As far as what a usually Pac-12. Saying what I was thinking. They look kind of small.
Hold on, bro. Say that again. Say that again. You cut out for a minute.
There was an echo. I'm sorry. I was saying that they look kind of small, and I think Coach Prime knows this on the defensive side of the ball, as far as their offensive line and D-line. So, Coach Prime is going to stay in that. That's why he made those comments, because he know, even though the Pac-12 probably not going to compete with a lot of those SEC teams, a lot of times, a lot of those players in the Pac-12 are coming from powerhouse programs on the West Coast, like Cal Poly or Mater Day or something, programs like that. So just because as a whole, the UCLA may not be ranked or whatever the case may be, if you're not getting your A game, they'll kick you in your mouth. They still got a lot of not great but good players on their squad. So, Coach Prime believes he probably the talent he has right now is the same level of talent that he had at Jackson State, probably, that can beat the SWAC or even some of the MEAC, a lot of the MEAC teams, but it's not messing with the TSUs, the Oregons, digging deeper into the Pac-12. So he definitely have to beef up that defensive line.
Yeah, bro. I think it's going to be difficult to overhaul the roster from the spring to the fall. I mean, that's my opinion, though. I don't care how much.
I highly agree.
I don't care how much you live in the portal. I mean, that's a 180 that you're going to have to make in a short time frame. And I don't know how many players he's getting this week, but he's going to need to, move fast,
What he's going to have to do is the players that are worth a damn. They may not be they may not be the 5 stars or 4 stars the other team have, but if they worth a damn, they busting their ass. Salvage them, keep them, and just build off them, and bring in the 4 stars and the 5-star talent at the portal for this year. And you still may struggle, but you won't struggle bad because you have fairly great players on the squad that are very competent when you get in very challenging times, as far as within certain games, like if you're down by 21 or something like that. So Um, he's just gonna have to continue to build, man. He's probably doing all he can this year, but what he's doing. If you paid attention to the fanfare, one of the big things around that Colorado scrimmage game is a lot of 5-star, 4-star players from 2024 went to the game.
Yeah, I mean, now that's one thing that I can see he has, not for this upcoming season, but for the following season.
Yeah.
Like a lot of 4 and 5-star players have already committed. Now, that's cool for fall of that's cool for fall of 24. But what are you gonna do for fall of 23? And like I said, I hate to say it, I think it's gonna kind of be, the same as his inaugural spring season at Jackson State, where, hey, they were like mediocre, and then they made a complete 180 and won the SWAC. So it could kind of be that type of turnaround.
JB, have you been following up on coach's
Yeah, I've watched it, man. The Colorado, they got the same question mark. Well, not really, but what I was worried about when I watched the same question marks I had for the offensive line. Are they going to be good? Because them not some big boys. Them boys wasn't big. Same thing with, and the coach Prime even mentioned it, saying he's gonna get some offensive linemen, try to get some offensive linemen in the portal, just like Mac Brown did for North Carolina. So, everybody's looking for some offensive linemen, and because the line of scrimmage is gonna you got to win the line of scrimmage, especially on offense, especially the type of offense y'all trying to run. They trying to run. But especially if they want to keep Shador Sanders up, and so Shador is he's not slow, and he doesn't have blazing speed, but he can run. He got some wheels on him, but you don't want to have Shador out there running. And what worried me was the offensive coordinator that they have likes to run his quarterbacks a lot. So I'm like, oh. So, and to me, Shador Sanders is like a pocket, sit back in the pocket and pick you apart type of quarterback, and he runs when he have to. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, I'm echoing the same sentiments you pretty much, in terms of the thoughts you just gave. Because to be truthful, people looking at like what he did this past season, but you got to realize he had so many more weapons than he had the previous year when they won the SWAC. I remember when they came to A.W. Mumford Stadium. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. He's nowhere near the athlete his dad was in his heyday. I mean, he's cerebral. He's a good pocket passer. Like you said, he can run when it's necessary. But, bro, when Southern's defense turned up, like, I was thoroughly unimpressed. And, he made enough plays for them to escape with a win.
And see, that's what I'm saying. And I think I watched that game as well, where the Southern Jaguar defense was able to, make a couple of stops.
No. I'm not talking about this season past. I'm talking about the previous season. And to be truthful, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. From an athletic standpoint, I would take somebody like Gervante Kincaid 10 times.
Your boy Jared.
10 times over 10 over Shador in terms of from an athletic standpoint,
Yeah, absolutely, all day, every day.
Yeah, you know what? Kincaid fits what they're trying to do in Colorado. From what the offensive coordinator for Colorado said he was going to do. That's what he said out his mouth. Now it's coaches. Coach. You guys say anything because y'all don't want the other coaches to catch on what y'all trying to do. So y'all might throw some bull out there. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know, but I'm like, I was hoping. Okay, I hope y'all don't run Shador like that. Cause that's the same thing I was thinking about with Drake May. I was like Drake May, and I didn't know Drake May could run like that really. So I was like, oh, okay, that's enough. You know what I'm saying? So um, we'll see. And like Colorado, man, it was more of about prime. You see what I'm saying? I've seen better football teams, but I just like Jared, me and you was talking about yesterday. It really was about Prime and him taking the best foot forward and getting that football team better than they was last year when they was only winning one game.
Yeah,
So if he wins and he go like 5-5 or 7-6, that's a win for
yeah,
him.
Oh,
You see what I'm
if they
saying?
go, I mean, if they could come close to 500, it's a win for him because I'm not expecting much from him in Colorado's first season.
Yeah, cause that was some. I was legit. I was Shout out to Pro Reference Guide. I was looking at their stats and they were horrible, horrible last year. I was. Jared said, he was was on his son's YouTube page, and he put on the time where he was talking to the football team, and he told them flat out, most of y'all ain't gonna be here. I was like, damn, coach, it's like
Yeah, I ain't
that.
gonna lie.
But
That
then I
was
looked, I looked at that program. I said, yeah, they were garbage. Somebody need to be fired. Yeah, they need to. Yeah.
yeah,
I ain't gonna lie. He was brutally honest in his opening press conference when he first arrived. I'm like, bro. I mean, I know you're being honest, but you kind of have to somewhat sugarcoat it. I mean, I guess that's really not his personality, but
No,
you just
that's
can't be
not.
brutal. You can't be brutally honest. If you see a female, you're not attracted to her. You can't say A, B word. You ugly. You have to say, I'm not interested. I'm not, feeling it like that. I mean, he's just blunt.
Yeah, you see a female, yeah, female that's not attractive. My favorite go-to line. Yeah, I gotta go pick up some bread. I can't mess with you right now. I gotta go to the store and pick up some bread. That always works.
I'm gonna try to use that, but anyway, hell stupid. But
Man, hey, don't
anyway,
listen to JB with that, no fellas. If y'all go telling these chicks, hey, I gotta go pick up some bread, man. Hey, fellas, don't listen to JB with that, no.
no, please don't.
Nah, you right, coach. That's not his forte. But I respect him for that because he telling them what it is. He's like, and he said that one because he said that in one interview, Coach Prime said he was going to. They were having team meetings. I guess it was the offense, and those players was listening to on their phones, had their feet up, and Coach Prime was like, okay, I see why. Y'all asses was 1-10 last year, and y'all got y'all feet up on y'all phones, not paying attention to the meeting, to what the coach is trying to tell y'all in a position meeting.
So at this
So
point, he don't care if some of them players that been in Colorado all their life. They was the man in the Colorado area in high school, and their parents are friends with an alumni, and they was able to get on. If he ain't that good and he don't show any effort, he out of there.
or he not gonna start.
One of the two. But just a great convo on this gentleman. But I have to move on to the final topic, which what happened yesterday. So those who are not boxing fans, mega fight, well, if you want to call it that, happened between Gervante Davis and Ryan Garcia. Now, a lot of people actually thought that Ryan Garcia had a chance against Tank. Well, and don't get me wrong, everybody has a puncher's chance, right? But I mean, you could say, Coach, could you say it was competitive for 1 or 2 rounds, and after that, Tank figured him out and started.
A couple of rounds at best. I mean, Ryan had a good first round, and he was more aggressive. I think he got he got overconfident, and he was doing well in the second round. I think he kind of buzzed Tank in the second round, and Tank caught him with the straight lefts and put him down. I'm gonna be truthful. I didn't think he was gonna get up, and then the momentum swung to Tank, and Tank just kind of played with him for a few rounds. I gave Ryan the sixth, but that seventh round he caught him with that liver shot, and initially, it didn't look like it was a big body punch, but when I saw the replay, and once Tank hit him, he realized like, ooh, I heard it, and Ryan stepped back and he took a knee, and the referee counting right in his face. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. You could see it in his eyes that Ryan didn't want any more. He didn't want any smoke. He shook his head. He was like, nah, I'm good. And, like one of the other brothers, 78, shout out to 78. 78 was like, if a guy is really hurt from a body shot, it takes him a while to get up after the referee finishes his 10 count. As soon as the referee got the 10, Ryan got up. So I'm like, oh, yeah, he tapped out. He didn't want no smoke,
No, he didn't. Yeah, I believe I'm gonna say that he could have got up, but he didn't want to, and I'm gonna go as far as say that he didn't get up in the aspect of he was quitting. He did quit.
He tapped out, bro.
He tapped out. He knew that he couldn't. He didn't have anything for Tank, and the ass beating was gonna be worse if the rounds went on, and Tank did a great job investing to the body in the later rounds. And at that point, was it round 7? Ryan couldn't take no more.
It was round 7.
Ryan couldn't take it no more.
And bro, the crazy thing about it is, like, I know my thoughts because you were in the live stream yesterday when I was on the show, and I kind of gave my analysis of the fight. But the thing about it, bro, one thing I didn't mention, bro, Ryan's boxing IQ is extremely low. He has no head movement. He has no defense. And, once he had success in that first round, it's like he just got overzealous. Bro, he should have used his height advantage. Like I said, I was over exaggerating when I say he's 5'4", but he's not too much taller. He's on like 5'5.5". He's not even 5'6". Bro, Ryan, you like 5'10.5", bro. Just use the jab. Keep him at the end of the jab. Hook off the jab. Throw the straight right hand. Jab, straight right hand, left hook. But bro, his boxing IQ is low.
And all the people that know boxing, like people like Stormy B, man, Drew Titan, 78 Sports TV, the Grave Digger, BFTB, you know what I mean? When they go on their lives and tell you this, you know what I mean? A lot of people thought, this is gonna be a, old school, Ron Lau type Ron Lyle versus George Foreman fight, or I even heard somebody say that this fight could have been Hearns versus Leonard 3. And I'm listening to them like, no, Ryan ain't up to that level yet.
Hey, that's so funny, bro. Yesterday in the live stream, my sister was like, y'all sure you're not underestimating Ryan Garcia? I'm like, baby, this boy is, he's not what people saying he is. He's don't get me wrong, he has hand, speed, and power, but he's overrated. He's a hype job. His boxing IQ is low. He doesn't know how to cut the ring off. Like he has too many holes in his game. And when Raymond was like, he's a great fighter, I'm like, no, he's good. And I really want to say good at best. So I mean, don't get me wrong, he has good attributes, but he's not on that level, bro. And I think he just got exposed last night.
He did. The young boy just need to go back and learn something. I think he need to drop, like Story B Man said, he need to drop that coach.
Bro, and I mean, and the thing about it is, bro,
because Goosen ain't teach him nothing.
Man, bro, I'm not gonna lie. First of all, Ryan doesn't want it like that. I think that's why Canelo, even though he's a drug cheat, one thing we can say about him is he a dog, in terms of the fact that he wants it. Bro, Ryan is a celebrity. Ryan doesn't want it like that. So Canelo saw that. But in terms of Goosen, bro, I'm listening to his instructions in the corner, and I'm like, bro, your instructions is trash. And in addition to that, the fact that him and B-Hop and Oscar, like, they were nowhere in sight for the post-fight press conference. It's like, bro, like, basically, y'all don't care about this boy. Honestly, bro, I kind of feel like they cashed him out yesterday, me, myself.
I wouldn't put it past Oscar De La Hoya.
Well, nah, don't get me wrong. When I say cash him out, they knew he was not ready for a fight of this magnitude. You can't keep selling him.
No, I know what you meant, but I think Oscar knew that too. They were trying to get all.
So, they was ready to get the big payday. Mm-hmm. And, of course, it was a mega event. Uh-huh. But, how do you sell him now? He's talking about moving up to 140. Bro, 7-8, like, threw out the idea of him fighting Regis Prograis. Bro, he don't want none of Rougarou. He don't want no smoke with none of the top guys at 140. He can't beat Regis Prograis. He can't beat Josh Taylor. He can't beat Female Lopez. He can't beat none of those guys. So unless he moves up to 140 and fight a few tomato cans, bro, I don't see him making it at 140 either.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he at the 140-pound weight class, he's gonna same thing gonna eventually happen again because there's too many good 140-pounders. Me personally, I think he should stay where he's at. Yeah, you lost to the Tank, but you have the talent to stay on the top of the 135-pound weight class. So,
well, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. For the top fighters in 135 or 140, he's fooled. So I think he's using the weight thing as an excuse. So, all right, he could go up to 140, but if I was him, I would, Oscar probably gonna, put him in with a few light touches. That's what he should do. But like you say, bro, anytime he elevates to the top guys of the division, whether it's 135, if he's fighting against Dev, he fighting against Tank, he fighting against whoever. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't even think he can beat Frank Martin at this point. He can't beat none of those guys.
No. Frank Martin.
I would even pick Eastside Cruz over him, to be real. He can't beat any of those guys. You go up to 140, like I said, he can't beat Josh Taylor. He can't beat Teofimo Lopez. He can't beat Regis Prograis. I mean, I'm gonna be truthful. I mean, I know DK not gonna put him in there with him, because if I was him, I would give AB a few light touches, but maybe he could fight, a fighter like a Adrian Broner might be decent for him. So, because I'm gonna be honest with you, at this point in AB's career, unless he really gets motivated, I don't I don't see him doing a whole lot either. But at least AB is more marketable.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. But I'm not gonna lie, man. Ryan definitely does have power, but he needs to get with a trainer to stop him from when he throws punches. His chin is all up in the air, and that's how he was able to get countered by the likes of Luke Campbell. And he got countered bad, as you can see. We saw last night. He got countered bad against Tank in the second round, and then seventh after investments to the body, Tank finished him off. JB, what did you think of the fight, man?
Tank beat that boy like he stole a pair of his mama drawers, and he was playing with his food. Tank knew going into that fight, knew what he was going to do to Ryan. All he had to do was pick around, and and I think with the after the fight, I think everybody, it was like leaving the crime scene. Everybody just dipped. The check clear? Okay, we leaving. That's basically what it was. You on your own. Everybody got paid, goosing, like like Coach said. You can goosing. Just I already knew how Ryan was gonna get his ass whooped, but how he was training. Some of the comments saying, "Yeah, Ryan. I don't know how to just tell Ryan anything. I just tell him this. He just got. You better tell that boy something." It was just. The best fight is gonna be either Shakur, Tank, or
Devin
Haney, the Dream Haney. Ryan should never been in there, but hey, what I'm saying, this is another body on Tank record. Ryan, all he had was speed. He had a good offense, but he.
Let me correct you. He had hand speed, not as far as feet.
He could throw, like he could get off. He can get off punches. You know what I'm saying? I know MMA dudes that don't have good head movement that can get off on offense, but he doesn't know how to protect himself while throwing punches. And Tank knew that. That's why he was able to drop him in the second round. Tank was just using his range. The first round was a range finder, as you two just said a couple of minutes ago. It was just a range finder. He found Ryan's range and knew that he don't protect himself after he throw a punch, and knocked him, just put him on his ass in the second round. And after that, I think somebody said it. I think on Ill Will show earlier today, after he got knocked down, excuse me, he didn't really want to throw nothing, because he knew that Tank is, and like on Tay Jones show earlier too, after I got finished watching Ill Will, Tay Jones was saying that Tank's IQ is better than what people think. Kind of like it's kind of Wilderish. Well, Deontay Wilder, he get hit, even though he's getting hit with punches, he's setting you up at all times. Tank is setting you up at all times. He get hit with little shit, but he just setting you up at all times. And just like he did Rolly. Exactly like he did. Rolly thought he was in the clear, and then bam. You know what I'm saying? So, and in that body shot, he just landed on him. You could tell it hurt, because when he landed it, he turned sideways.
And he was moving back.
And then he just bent the knee. He just took the knee.
No, hey, but the thing about it is, Tank's expression, once he hit Ryan to the body, he knew
he was like, "I got you." Yeah. He's like, "That's your ass." Yeah, indeed.
But they were saying, go ahead.
I'm sorry, JB. You go ahead, bro.
No. I was saying that I heard was rumors that that he was getting hurt in camp with body shot. Tank knew exactly what he was gonna do with that boy. All we had to do was just pick around. And
Bro,
I think
what?
Tank could have got him out of there earlier, but I think Tank did respect his power. But I think, to me, I think he he just all he had to do was just pick around. If either the round 4, 5, or 6, and then he got him out in the 7th. So, I mean, to me, it wasn't really competitive to me, to be honest with you. I think it was more of it else up about Tank being elite. He's an elite fighter. He's an elite fighter, and he got the drawing power too.
Yes, he does. But man, we an hour and 41 minutes in, and I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. D Weezy, Brandon Bazell, David Scott, all people who came in just a little bit and dipped out. That's okay. I appreciate y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe again. I'm new to the YouTube thing, so a lot of things I'm figuring out and just betting on myself. So I appreciate you brothers with me on this journey. We're gonna see where it take us. And like I told you about Coach 67 Sports TV, I'm trying to build my channel organically. I'm not gonna buy any subscribers. I'm just gonna do it the old fashioned way. So 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 some nights we gonna probably gonna have enough people in here to um play spades or whatever. But that's okay. That's okay, because it's gonna get better, and I'm gonna be more consistent. But Coach 67 Sports TV, is there anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Yes, sir. Uh, First of all, shout out to everybody that's been rocking with us since day one, since our very first episode. When we talked about, HBCU football. So, shout out to everybody that's been rocking with us since day one. On my channel,
Yes.
I'm going to have a breakdown of Southern University's defensive back position. In addition to that, I'm going to go more in depth with my breakdown of the Tank Ryan fight. I'm also going to talk about the undercard, how Gabe Rosado, he's completely falling off, and how David Morrell got a impressive knockout. I'm going to talk about that also. So catch me on my channel, Coach 67 Sports TV. If you have not done so, in terms of my breakdown of the fight, I talked about it yesterday on episode 6 of Value Sports Talk. Catch me over there. You can catch me at Coach 67 Sports TV here on YouTube and on all social media platforms. Y'all have a blessed, phenomenal evening. I'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace and blessings.
Yeah, same here. Y'all go support to sip the tallies, the Road G podcast or the Road podcast. Suge Knight 323. All those brothers. I know I'm missing some. Lunch break hot take. All those brothers, man. A lot of times they be in my chat giving supporting me. So I'm gonna shout out those people that support me, man. So God bless all y'all. But y'all have a safe night. Y'all enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you for watching.